So here we go. This is where we get into the fun stuff. My bad, I moved my camera a little bit. Okay, so as you know, we're gonna start with the C chord, C major, C right here. If you take that, and we're in the key of C major, and we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take that 7 and add it to that chord. That adds a super sweet sound. Can you hear that? Let me put it up a little bit, sorry. That is what we'd call a major 7th. So that's C major 7th. So C major is talking about the chord, and then also major 7th is talking about the major 7th. Why is it called the major 7th? Because it's the 7th note in the major scale of C. So if we do that in the same context with the D, it's gonna be, now we're in the key of D. Bum, 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 bum. We find D major, boom. Okay, now we find the 7. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See that? One final example is going to be E major 7. So let's look at the key of E. So you find E chord first. All right, now into the key of E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a 7, and that's the E major 7. Very pretty, right? That's going to be your major 7ths. So with that same concept, I want you to really, I'm going to give you a lot, but I want you to take it piece by piece, okay? Don't stress. This is little bit by little bit, okay? This is E, that was all the major 7ths. Now, if we take C major 7 and go up another 3rd, we get a 9th. You hear that? It's like, oh, you like it, but you kind of don't. You can make that work. Let's take this, for example. I'd say let's take the 5th, the 1 and the 5. Put this right here. Let's take the 7th instead and put that up here with the 3rd, and then you get, and then an octave. You hear that? That's pretty, right? You see how pretty that sounds? This is called reharmonization. This is where you take any chord and you just change it up a little bit. When you change it up a little bit, it's just like reorder the notes, basically. All the same notes, but just put them in a different place. You can make something really beautiful out of that. You also got to be careful, though, because some things will sound ugly if you reharmonize them. I'd say don't go any lower than this C. Anything lower than that's going to sound disgusting. If I try to play this down here, it's too muddy. It's not going to sound pretty. So if we're trying to do the same thing with a D major 7, and then out of the 9, I'd say what we could do is, but maybe out of this, maybe take this, and then, see how pretty that sounds? What am I doing? I have the 1 here, the 3 here, the 5 here, the 1 again on top, the 3 again, the 5th, but then the 7th and 9th. But we could also just change that up and just bring it down here. See? Pretty either way. That is just an extension of what we already know. Play around with that. Anything that's within the scale will most likely sound pretty, but experiment a little bit with it. Know where to put it. If we're singing a song like, we're going to be singing Waymaker soon, I believe. I think the bridge goes, even when I don't see it, you're working. Never stop working. Never stop working. Right here, I like to add this 6th, okay? I like to add a 6 here, but 6th and the major 7th. For the B major, I like to add the 6th. For the C minor, I like to add C sharp minor. Sorry, I like to add this minor 7th. That's how I play. That's what gives it that color. Okay, so you already know how to get 7th and 9th, major 7th and 9th and all that. Now out of that same concept to everything else. We're on the key of C again. We're on the key of C, okay? Again, that means we can go anywhere. So if we're on the key of C and we're playing a C major chord, if you want to make it a C6, you just add the 6 because it's in the major scale. The 6 is the major scale. Okay, if you want to make it a C5, that means you take off the 3 and you just do that. Because you are going to see this in a lot of worship songs as we go on, and you'll see. If it says suspended, that means you're going to bring this down. Wait. Sorry, I'm sorry. I meant this way. If you want to go, if it says suspended, you bring the 3rd up 1. Okay? If it says C2, you add the 2. Like that. It's simple. It's simple stuff. It really is. I know it seems like a big thing, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But it's literally just telling you, hey, just add that note. That's literally it. Add that note or take away that note. It's simple as that. Okay? Now, when we start getting into more interesting stuff is when we take that C major 7, right? But instead, it says C7. Just C and just 7. No major in between. That means something completely different. That means that C major 7 right there goes down half a step. And that's a C7. And you hear that. Da-da-da-da. You hear that? It's like really big tension, you know? Okay? That's really cool. C7 right there. Okay? So with that same concept, if we're on D major now, right? Find the D major 7. There we go. Now it says D7 only, all right? Then we bring the major 7 down half step. And that's the D7. And these kind of chords are really pretty because they resolve nicely to this. Watch. You hear that? It's that tension, release. Tension, release. It's really pretty. So you could do a lot with that. That's what a D7 would be. That's what C7 would be. Try that out. Tell me if you need any help with that, if it makes sense or if it doesn't make sense. It's okay to say it doesn't make sense. And then if it doesn't, I'll happily show up and we could learn more in person because these are bigger topics that I do want to cover. All right. And then when we get to this, all right, we're already here, C7 again. If it says C minor 7, all that means is you're just making the C minor, but you're keeping that same 7. So it's like you're taking that C7, which is also called a dominant 7th because it has that ba-da-da. You hear that? C minor 7 just means bring this down half step. Now that's it. So with that same concept, find your D major 7. Now make it a dominant 7th. So bring it down half step. Then make it a minor 7th. Just bring this 3rd down. Boom. Same thing with the E. This is E major 7. Bring it down half step. That's a dominant 7th. Bring this down half step. Boom. E minor 7. You see how simple it is? It seems like a lot, right? But it's truly not. It really isn't. And I just explained a whole bunch of stuff on extensions. Okay? And everything keeps applying. Where would you use this? I'd personally say we're using a C7. I like to use it a lot to build tension and then finish something off. So let's say... You hear that? It's like, what's going on? And then, ooh, relax. Play with it, okay? Play with it, really mess with it. Just so you know, every 5 of every major scale will be a dominant if you use the extension. And I'll explain that more in the next video, okay? This is more just to get you started. The next video will have all those details.